I don't know what it's not letting me.
It says we're live.
Okay, sorry. Let me get out of the way then.
Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
Drop it.
Welcome back to another edition of the Ball Don't Lie podcast. We are in season 5, episode 2. The gang is back together. Here with my man Justin Small, and we got Chris Spaghetti Pig in the background producing for us again. Justin, what's up, man?
Nothing. Week 2. Just grateful football season's here, man.
That's absolutely right. As you know, it's not about how you start or finish. It's about all in the middle, and you try to keep it above that 55% line.
Yep.
At 60, it's great. We kind of had the tail of 2 weeks last week.
Yeah, we did.
But we did get you to 3-2 on our circa plays.
Yep.
Unfortunately, like 4,000 other people in the Circa Survivor. Yeah.
Done.
Ow.
Oh,
And if I would have seen that, I'm a big Joe Burrow guy.
yeah.
If I would have saw the water bottle of him trying to grab that with his hand, that hand is not right.
No, I mean, with him, gosh, I don't know. This guy can't shake it, man. All the talent in the world, but
That nerve stuff is real, though. Like, if you can't,
yeah.
I mean, Peyton dealt with that stuff a lot, too. I mean, Tiger deals with it, too. Just when that's not right, some days it's not right.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to put zip in the NFL doing that, too, if you can't feel the ball right in your throwing hand, that is a real deal there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we kind of rush our play a little bit on that. We probably should have talked about it a little more. We didn't.
I know.
But it is what it is.
It is what
We're
it
here,
is.
too. So I think Small coming off a little bit of a rough start there, 1-4. The Dogs were not kind to him last week. Those will play out better. I went 4-1 to start the year there. I did miss on my Iowa pick. Couldn't be happier. It was looking like the doomsday play for me. Iowa State doesn't cover and loses by 2. But the kick goes in, and I told you I've never been so happy to lose money in my entire life. But I told you, I said they're going to lose by 2, and I walked outside. I didn't even see the kick go in. I had to leave the garage.
Yeah.
I was like, I know how this ends. That was the most non-Iowa way to lose a game and the most non-Iowa State way to win one. We don't win football games that way. It always goes that way.
Campbell literally doesn't typically win games like that, unfortunately.
He hasn't been good in them, but it's one of those deals, too, to where you got to start – it's like gambling, though. You got to start getting that ball to bounce the other way once in a while, and it did there. Like Texas Tech making that 66-yard field goal that year, too.
Yep.
That doesn't go in. That's another win there. He wins that game on it.
Right.
It's weird sometimes.
It is.
But I will say this. I'm not sure the better team won the football game that day. But, man, I'm going to tell you, the better coach maybe now did it. And currently, not forever. Ferentz I've given him his flowers, but, boy, adjustments were made in one locker room there. Not punching in from first and goal from the 1 and first and goal from the 3. 13-0, and Iowa State missing a field goal before half. 13-0 at half. I looked at Farah. We're sitting there watching. I go, this is like best case scenario for Iowa State.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
it
to
was.
come out the way it did, Cade McNamara is a real problem. The dude, he can't throw the ball anymore. It is a straight noodle arm. He has no push off. The reason I wasn't nervous in the Hail Mary is if he goes out there, I said he can't. They're at the 50-yard line. I go, he can't get the ball to the end zone. And he got to like the 11-yard line on a Hail Mary.
Yeah. I mean, we saw the same old Iowa. I mean, 19 points, man. Like, it's more like it's lipstick on a pig. It doesn't matter.
With that dude run the ball, Johnson is a stud. He had first and goal from the 1 and 3. I'm telling you, you know who would have scored points there? Brian Ferentz. You want to know why? Because it's going to be power.
Yeah.
Before it did not play action with Cade McNamara's noodle arm, but
yeah, I think they're in for a long haul. At some point,
I'm not sure. That schedule is whatever. I some my more obnoxious Hawkeye friends that I will say this: the Tila 2 Potoff, Andy Potoff saying that Iowa State was the 7th hardest game on their schedule, and Luke Potoff going, it's probably the 3rd. I'm like, You're probably right about that. So the schedule is super favorable for Iowa. It's all in front for both teams. Iowa State there's probably less room for error in the Big 12 to get in that top 12 as there is in the Big 10. It's just the way it is. But I'll tell you what you did get right, though. That plus 31 South Florida against those Bama boys, that was a live bullet there in the second half for a minute. I thought you were going to get that one home money line play, man.
Oh, gosh. They were only down. Like 5 or 6 or something with like 6-7 minutes to go. I'm watching.
Yeah, and then it just some weird stuff happened. But
Bama had 2.
31 was never a sweat. It was a sweat. Was Bama going to win that game or not?
Yeah, right. It was crazy. And unfortunately, I always pick the ones where you just sweat your off all the time. And I'm like, how this shouldn't even be possible. And we'll get to a game that literally, I don't know if you heard the stat this week, but one of the games I picked, it was literally the first time ever in history that this took place. And shocker, I had it.
Your Titans play was disgusting last week.
That's the one.
If Will Levis doesn't make whatever that was to the sideline, they win the football game. Not only not win, then they didn't cover. So press the other way. That was gross.
Of 4-point dogs winning by 17 or more, they were 66-0 against the spread. When 4-point dogs are up by 17 or more, last week was the first time ever that's ever not happened, and I had them. Yeah. What are the odds?
That's brutal.
Not good. So
no, not good.
Go.
Again,
what do you do?
Nothing. You just
you take it, right? You just got to sit there and take it.
But Will Levis, buddy, you can't. That is junior high football stuff there.
Yeah.
You can't do that in the NFL. So with that said, I'm hanging out in the hotel room here at Denison, Iowa, on the golf course. Had a draft for the Brandon golf tournament here. I did not take my brother as a B golfer, so that means for sure his team will probably place the money in the Calcutta, and I will not make the money. He won't let me hear the end of that. So that's typically how that works. So why don't we go ahead and get it started? I got 6 plays here.
Okay.
And I got my 1 college play as well.
Okay. First, I got to bring up the circuit card here because I know the lines have changed. I'm going to take Dallas 6.5 against the Saints, and I'm just not going to fall for it here. I was against the Saints last week. I will stick to my guns in terms of I still don't really believe this team's great. Doing what they did to Carolina, clearly shame on me for believing Bryce Young had any shot at improving ever. The guy's horrible. First pass of the season's picked off. They were behind the 8 ball to begin with, and then it was just a snowball effect. However, it's still Derek Carr and it's still Dennis Allen, and they're on the road. And I think Dallas, they're that weird team this year. Not many people were high on them. In fact, hardly anybody was high on them.
I'm very low on them.
Yeah, and with what they did last week, as that was an underdog role too. I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe this is the one that could be sneaky. So I don't know. I don't. The Saints on the road here last week means nothing to me in terms of what they did. So I think this would also be like that. I think this is a teaser play and a survivor play as well.
So first of all, I do love the ball don't lie neon there in the background.
Yeah, you got
to get my
sometime
too. That's good stuff there. I actually crossed the Saints out before we got here, so this will not make our circle for the card. The Saints are adjustments for me, and it's more of the line. I do think Dallas is going to win the game. I think Dallas is going to play in some close football games this year.
Yeah.
So it's a wait and see for me with Mike McCarthy more than anything else. And I gotta see that it's not the same Cowboys. I gotta see that they can run the ball enough with those backs and that offensive line, because Dak is fine, but when he has to drop back and throw 40 to 50 times, I'm gonna have to see it. So the Saints were just a miss for me.
Okay.
Who I did take though was another team that I was lower on than I should have been. The Bucs looked very good last week, and Baker looks super healthy. The offensive line, who actually they're going to be better than they were last week. They were actually pretty bad in protection last week for Baker. That dude was vintage Baker, eluding the pass rush, getting just in the inside and outside the pocket, and then delivering the football. Baker Mayfield was fantastic last week. Maybe the best I've seen him play since Oklahoma. He was awesome. I watched most of that game, and you know how heavy I was in the Falcons this year and that too. I might have been wrong. If Baker's going to play like that, and those receivers keep getting that kind of separation, he's going to be able to just pop the ball that way. Because I love their backs too. I love both of their backs. Tampa, I might have been completely whiffed on my South pick there, because I love the Falcons this year. And look, we always say week one's a liar sometimes.
It is. And
I do love Detroit. But I think 7.5 points is just too many. So I'm going to take the Bucs. Okay. 7.5 on the road.
Yeah, the only thing that really scares me, like the Bucs got banged up bad in secondary right now. That's the only thing. And you're right. Like, this is the week, for everyone that does listen, like, it is overreaction week to AT. Like, you got to remember, teams are never as good as they look last week, and they're never as bad as they look. This is the NFL. I guarantee you this week, dogs were not barking. We're going to have some weird games this week. I promise you.
Week one is just like the government trying to force stuff down our throats sometimes. They're a liar sometimes.
Yeah.
That's week one.
Every day.
And that's where we're at.
Yep. All right. I'm actually going to I don't take my own team very often. But I'm going to take them getting 8 on the road at Baltimore. It's, they were pretty ugly last week, but defensively, they were pretty solid as a whole. The biggest play, for whatever reason, I felt the turning point was Minshew just throwing it backwards.
That was weird. That was super weird.
Yeah, just right before half, ball slipped out of his hand. I mean, Raiders were in field goal range. Then the Chargers go down, kick. It was like just a big turning point, shift in momentum right before half.
And that's what he usually doesn't do, though. Usually he doesn't give you those easy ones. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was just a weird situation. So I just felt like that was a big turning point in the game that probably no one's talking about. And, I don't love that Baltimore obviously lost to the Chiefs. They're probably going to be hungry, but it's more about what I feel like the Raiders' defensive line can kind of hold, hopefully, Lamar in check here. I don't think Lamar's going to be able to do what he did against the Chiefs here. So, and I just don't see the motivation. And it's hard. Quite frankly, when even people got to remember, like, the Ravens can be up 14 and the back door is wide open. Yeah.
No, it's a good line to pick that off there. It just, that late field goal to cut it to the one scored, I think I kind of like that line too. You could probably talk me into that one. Okay. Drew Shipley, keep Derek Carr's name out your mouth. He's going to be at Baltimore at the game. Mad Max, besides, I'll tell you who is TJ Watt last week was a one-person wrecking crew. My goodness. He might be the best football player in the league.
You can make the case, that's for sure.
You absolutely can. And then again, too, I said so I hammered the Bills. I almost put on our stuff. I didn't do it. made my money night because I'm a non-Tua guy. I think he's trash. He was trash tonight. Josh Mulbauer's Tua done forever. Another concussion, not good. So I didn't see it again. I was picking the draft for this golf tournament. I'll see you tomorrow morning, Josh, at Venturi in Council Bluffs. I don't know. Tua's whatever for me. We'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully he's all right.
We'll see. I hope he's all right for the sake of his health. But
yeah.
Well, as far as the football goes, I think I had Miami as kind of smacked ass a little bit. On my teams.
Yeah. I think it feels like now. I mean, obviously we're just starting, but it feels like you were pretty much spot on. With your call there and with
under 10 wins for Miami this year just felt like a layup to me because I thought the Bills were going to be better than people thought, and Miami wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
The Jets would be.
I feel like that division you might be just absolutely spot on.
So I got the Bucks. I took the Bucks 7.5. I got the Colts game. My Colts last week, man, they were live in that game with the Texans. The Texans did come out better. I had the Colts win the division.
Yep.
The Texans might be just good, better than I thought they were. I haven't taken a step back this year, but I'm going back to my Colts. I'm going with the Colts minus 2.5 on the road here. I got to see Malik Willis throw the ball. Malik Willis is not Jordan Love. You get the Packers taking a big step back this year. We'll see how long Love's out. I know they're talking about maybe he's going to play like this. Why would you rush him back what you just played him? Don't do that. You saw what happened to Burrow last year and that happened. That is not ever good. Just he's young guy. Take your time there. So I hope Green Bay does take their time there. But if Malik Willis is playing quarterback there, again, I'm just big on the Colts this year. And I thought they played well last week.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson is an anomaly. He completed 9 passes, but that dude is a human highlight reel. He's incredible with the highlights.
He's arguably like the most athletic quarterback in the league.
Ever to play football?
I mean, he is a freak.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I know Michael Vick played, but man. So I'm going to take the Colts minus 2.5 on the road.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. This is the only thing. It's just kind of weird. I just thought it would be higher, to be honest. But I don't hate it. I'm with you in the Malik Willis, man. It's like
it's a Malik Willis play for me.
Yeah, sure. And
he's barely been there. Does he even know the playbook yet?
Yeah.
Like if he was there the whole preseason, that's one thing. He's a new body in the building.
All right. I'm going to take my least favorite player ever to play football. And so we won't make this probably selection. You might have it in the card, but it'll for sure lose for you listeners because this guy hates me and I can't stand him either.
I already know.
And I'm going to lay it with Jacksonville, -3.
We're in complete agreement. There's our first 6 shekel play. Jags are in the card -3.
Well, so we're going to be 0-1. Look, I feel like so I'm going to overreact what not to do from week 1. But, I mean, the Browns and Watson look lost.
It's a big Watson problem, too. And I was kind of high on Cleveland going into it. But, boy, oh, boy, with both those tackles banged up, too. Can Watson play football anymore?
No.
And he's got another distraction this week with the new legal case. Like, that is not good, man.
The only thing that scares me is how bad we're seeing the Dolphins play tonight. Jacksonville lost. I mean, they were up 14-0.
Jacksonville should have won that game. They had a lot of fluky shit go their way. I was on Jacksonville last week. They covered for me, but that was a Titans flukiness stuff happened. That game got weird.
Yeah, I feel like this should be a spot, right? Too. I mean, you're 0-1. You're now going back home. You are thought to be that borderline playoff team. I mean, Lawrence, you just can't go. You can't go 0-2 here. You just can't.
They're making the playoffs. They're getting this win. I'm calling this one right too. We're getting a win on Circa here.
All right. So we got one.
we got one down.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you another one here too. That seems a little stinky to me. And it's a favorite on the road again. And it's the 49ers -5 at Minnesota. I think there is a gigantic overreaction to our whiff last week, which was the Giants. Minnesota, look, Darnold looked fine. He's going to be fine with him doing it. He's going to be fine. This team is not less than – the 49ers are incredible. They're ready to go. They didn't have C-Mac last week. Yeah. They're going to be just fine. Purdy is more composed than ever I've seen. less than a touchdown from Minnesota stink. So maybe I'm just completely wrong here, but I'm hammering this game.
Yeah.
I'm taking that stupid bait. I'm taking it.
Yeah. I mean, this will be play number 2 for us. So I'm with you. I listened to a guy a lot smarter than me who he made a case for the Vikings, and I thought it was fair in what he described, but I'm like, man, I don't know. I remember too, this is a big revenge game too. The Niners lost to the Vikings last year in a really kind of ugly finish and fashion up there in Minnesota. So it's very rare that you play a non-division opponent back-to-back years on the road back-to-back years. So I think that loss will, kind of resonate with the Niners here too. So I'm full agreement, man. Like,
does it make your card too, or just our circle plays?
No, I think it's just make our circle play. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like it. Well, you mentioned him. I'm gonna go back to the well. G-Man, sign me up one more time. I like Payne. This is really more of a
buddy. That was so bad last week.
Oh, they were horrible. You want to hear something crazy?
No.
I think Daniel Jones I believe he's 6-1 against the Commanders as a starter.
No way. No way.
Yeah. And Dable is, so I heard this too. I just heard this. So Dable is, when he's been a dog to the Commanders, he's covered every time. So I think the last 4 meetings he's been a dog and covered all of them. So I think it's pretty clear. Commanders have the worst defense in the league. And I don't believe that's an overreaction from last week.
Their offensive line is not very good either. Jaden Daniels is for real. That O-line is bad. But my over 550 rushing yards in the season for Jaden Daniels is going to hit before maybe Halloween.
Yes, I joined you on that because that was one of my favorite ones after you said.
Might hit by Halloween. He had like 80 yards last week.
He just can't get hurt. That's his thing.
I told you. I said the only way that does not hit is if he gets hurt because that offensive line is not good.
Yeah. So I mean, look.
What is the line here? The Giants. What is the line?
+1.5. I just don't. Why are the Commanders favored? Look,
they shouldn't be favored in a football game.
No, there's no home field here. They got the worst home field in football.
If the Giants lose this game, you cannot pick them the rest of the year.
Oh, fudge. Look, if they do lose this game,
if they lose this game, I know you're picking them next week too. I know you're going to.
Yeah, I mean, because they're going to be probably like 8-point dogs.
That's funny.
I wanted to go back to Carolina this week.
I know. That I would have cut you off on. I would have hit mute. I would have told Pig to hit mute in the microphone because that is the worst team in football, and it's not even close. And you're right about Bryce Young.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're on the Giants at +1.5. Before we go out and close out here, why don't we go ahead and throw it back to Pig here? Hear another word from our sponsors.
In 2023, a crack Green Beret named Dan Douglas retired his military command and promptly escaped to a full-time career in real estate. Today, this man is wanted by home buyers and sellers who want to survive the process without spending a fortune. If you have a home to sell or want to buy one, maybe you can hire Dan Douglas at Green Beret Realty. You can find him at greenberetrealty.com. greenberetrealty.com.
Thank you again to our sponsors at Green Beret Realty and Revelton Distilling Company. And again, we're here to you from the AKC Marketing Studios, brought to you by Andrew Downs. We are a Three Beards Media podcast, part of a year 2 with Three Beards. Season 5 already, buddy, which is just crazy.
Season 5.
Episode 2. We're going to try to get you guys above that 60% this year in our circuit plays. Sitting right at it, 3-2 to start.
Drew can confirm home field. Yeah, it is. When they changed the stadium, you got the Redskins used to have a great home field. When they made the new stadium, it's like pathetic.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Well, I got one play left here, and then I got my college play. I don't know how many you have left.
I got a couple. I've been waiting to see if I'm curious on your last one here because I felt like you're probably going to talk me into one, so I'm hoping it's this one.
Well, go ahead. You start us off.
Okay.
Let's have one.
Cardinals -1.
Start talking because this is potentially making the card. It did not make my card.
Oh, it didn't. Gosh, I thought it was. Okay.
But talk dirty to me.
Okay. So Rams are banged up bad right now. Puka being out, big deal. Yes. So people are going to argue McVay owns the Cardinals. Not wrong. There's that whole regime's out though for Arizona. So throw the Kingsbury stuff out the window. Like this is a different thing. And why this made it for me, this was just before we came on, was because we used the Cardinals in the circuit last week. And with what the Bills are doing tonight is why it confirmed it for me. Because I'm like, you know what? If you can go on the road at Buffalo,
the Cardinals should have won that game. I know they
should.
Covered kind of weird, but they were in control of that football game.
Yeah, they led 80% of that game.
Yeah,
and so when Buffalo's looking like this tonight, and I'm like, okay, so maybe Arizona is that team. And we talked about it. You had them in the playoffs. I had it just missing. Maybe they just are better than what we think. I know they have questions on defense, but you know what? The Rams also have questions on defense. They aren't the same old Rams anymore on the defensive side of the football. It does scare me a hair that the line flipped. I'm not big on lines flipping and taking from a dog to a favorite, but I think now with what we're seeing with the Bills, I like this Cardinals play, man. They should have won that game, and if the Bills are this good, then this seems like a cheap price, quite honestly.
This is weird for me because it's one of my two playoff teams. I had the Rams and the Cardinals in the playoffs.
Right.
And they both could very easily, probably should be 1-0 this week. The Rams played great against Detroit last week, lost in an overtime game when it was just, power Iowa State here, power Iowa State there. It was just a weekend for Iowa State closers. Take that.
That's right.
But you know what the stats are about starting the year 0-2. It's not good making the playoffs, and one of my playoff picks is probably dead after this week.
That added game changes everything, though.
It definitely does skew those stats, but the stats are starting 0-2. It's not good. It's not. And I have the Packers losing too. That's another playoff team. But like we said, the NFL is weird. Week one is a liar sometime. But somebody has to be.
It happened. I mean, it just does. Like teams you don't think. It's like you always sit there and say preseason, it's impossible for them to start 0-3, and then before you know it, they're 0-3.
Drew asked if we had a survivor play to make. Who would it be? Mine would probably be the Ravens. I don't hate your cover with the Raiders. I don't think they're winning that football game.
Yeah. I would use Dallas just because I don't know Dallas's remaining schedule, but I don't know how many opportunities you get to use Dallas. So
yeah, that's actually fair there. That's a fair play too.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think it'll make our card with the Cardinals.
Okay.
But I don't hate the play.
Okay.
But man, I just think that I like both those teams so much. This is such a hard thing for me to grasp yet. I need to see them both play another week.
Okay.
My last play is another stupid Vegas trap bet with the line, but dude, Kansas City being -5.5 for Cincy. I gotta see. I'm the biggest Burrow guy there is, and buddy, I am concerned about that hand. I hope it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing all this and then just dropping the water. That water bottle thing was weird to me.
Yes.
But I'm more concerned about the Patriots are not a good football team. And they handled them.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, if you go by Vegas's preseason win totals, I mean, the Patriots were projected the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
Point blank.
I don't get it. Since he's always been a problem for them. So I think it's a little more of a history play here, get a bounce back. But I am seriously, seriously concerned about Burrow's hand. T. Higgins maybe not playing again. This whole thing with Jamar Chase seems a little off too. That's where you miss the Tyler Boyd being your third wide receiver to step in. He's in Tennessee now. I get it. It's another trap line. I'm taking the bait again there, just like I am with the 49ers
Sure.
teams. But I just think that Kansas City has taken a step forward from their team last year and they won the Super Bowl last year. But I think they've gotten some stuff figured out on that side too. And I think this is actually a double-digit pound. I think the Niners and Kansas City both win by double digits. You could do an alternate pleaser parlay with those guys and make some money.
I can probably be convinced here. You know, believe it or not, I was actually trying to make the case for the Bengals this week because typically, like Mahomes, he's favored by, like, it's weird though. Like
his record's not great, but
no,
and you know how I feel about Burrow, but
I know
I can't do it right now, man. It's almost the other way for me right now.
Right.
The hand has me super weirded out.
All right. Yeah, I don't blame you. All right,
I'll put KC with question marks by
okay, that's fair.
Circa play there.
So I kind of have borderline 2 left here.
Okay. Well, borderline or 2? Which one is it?
We'll just add them both. What the heck? All right, I'm gonna take your team. I'm gonna take Denver. Yeah. Look, the Steelers kicked 6 field goals last week. They
did.
The Falcons were atrocious. Kirk Cousins was awful. I mean, the Steelers did nothing. Like, yes, TJ Watt's a freak, and he deserves all the credit in the world.
TJ Watt's the reason they won that football game.
Yeah, and like,
seriously,
but it is. And when I saw this line, I'm like, why? I don't get why they're favored on the road. Like
Denver, no.
They went from, I mean, think about it, like, it's weird and for teams to go from a road dog to a road favorite in the NFL. Like, that just doesn't happen. And I just feel like this is really weird. I don't know. Yeah, Denver, they backdoored it and pushed last week in Seattle. I don't know. Hey, Bo Nix at home, first game at home. They're going to be pumped. I wasn't impressed with Pittsburgh, man. I was hoping to try and
watched the entire Denver game.
Yeah.
I'm talking about not being impressed with Pittsburgh. That was a hard effing watch.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to have their struggles. However,
I just don't think we can run the ball. I don't think we have enough juice. I think Javonte Williams probably needs to get put to the pasture. And you know what? They might. They kind of went away from him in the second half a little bit. Yeah. Jaleel McLaughlin's got a little more burst. And they like that Notre Dame kid. I think it's Estime's his last name. He had that fumble, but he's got a little more pop than Javonte. So I wouldn't be shocked if I have a couple shares of Javonte in Pig is a bigger Broncos fan than me, producing for us here. I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be very careful playing Javonte in fantasy this week. If you're back and forth between him and somebody else, I would sit his ass because I would not be shocked to see his shares go very, very minimal. Okay. Because the Notre Dame rookie actually picked up the blitz decent, but we're gonna see how good he is with Watt there. Oh, Estime is hurt, Chris says.
Yeah.
Never mind. Well, there it goes there too. And we traded away P Ryan, so yeah, he's a Chief now.
Yeah.
IR, not bad. See, Pig, I've been busy this week. You're showing me up here. This is what I've been producing, though.
I do. I kind of like Denver. I think it's a sneaky play. I don't think it's on many people's radar.
No, I think you're crazy. I think you're absolutely effing crazy.
Yeah.
This play has zero chance to make our circuit plays. 0.0 repeating chance to make our plays.
All right. Well,
your boys, the Raiders, have a chance to make it. They have a chance to make it. Absolutely.
I thought you would get behind this one.
Pig. See, ask Pig. He's back here. Do they open the playbook up?
But that's probably when you want to back him is when you don't want to.
I want to go 0-17. I'm on record saying this. I don't want 7-8 wins anymore. I'm sick of that shit. It's every year since the Super Bowl. I want Knicks to look good and to show progress and be competitive and lose every single game.
Sure.
But be competitive.
All right.
Hey, lose by 2, you win. You got it. Lose by 1.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Okay. I got one more, and I don't know. It's probably just as ugly. Bears plus 6.5 at the Texans. I love Stroud. I've been on the Stroud train. He looked great.
You were one of the first ones.
However, dude, that Texans defense, there's issues. Anthony Richardson, you can't give up big plays like that. They got exposed. Look, Caleb played horrible. The Bears' offense was horrible. As we've said, you're never as bad as you looked. They just looked terrible. But somehow
so
they made
lucky to win that game. I mean, you get the stat earlier. It was crazy.
Right. They have no
But
business.
I'm not a
They have
Caleb
no
guy,
business winning.
but I'm with you here because
6.5.
I told you I had the Texans taking a big step back this year too, but they did look good last week, so I might be wrong.
Yeah.
6.5 is a lot of points. It seemed like a big swing on, again, that overreaction stuff a little bit. I mean, everybody's thinking Bears in the playoffs.
I mean, it's just saying that, like, the Texans, to me, like, it feels like they're saying the Texans with this line is like a top 5 team in the league, and
they're not. They're absolutely not. They're absolutely not. I think
No.
the Colts were the better team last week, and I think they're going to win the division still. I still think the Colts are better.
Same.
I really do.
I completely agree with you.
I'm going to put the Bears with a question mark as well. That could make our place.
All right. Cool.
I'm going to go for my we need to hear from one more time from our sponsors here too, and we'll be right back.
Making great tasting bourbon requires the perfect combination of ingredients, conditions, and time. The longer it rests, the better it tastes. Revelton Distillery's new single barrel bourbon is made from 80% corn, sourced 100% from Iowa farmers. And unlike mass-produced bourbons, each barrel of Revelton's single barrel bourbon is unique, proofed on when it tastes best. As they like to say, it'll be ready when it's ready. And to ensure the highest standards of quality and flavor, owners Rob and Christy Taylor oversee the production and bottling. Every single barrel. Iowa-born, Iowa-aged, Iowa-bottled. Try the new single barrel bourbon from Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com.
Thank you again to our sponsors at Revelton Distillery, Green Beret Realty, and the AKC Marketing Group. Again, we are in season 5, episode 2 of the Ball Don't Lie podcast, and brought to you by Three Beards Media. You want to know on your college plays? I said we're taking a big step back on college this year to keep it simple. It is tough to do. I am the happiest 0-1 in the world. Picked Iowa last week, 2.5 for my one play. So happy to be 0-1. I'm gonna get Smool gross this week.
Oh, good.
My college play.
I got one too.
I'm taking Florida State minus 6.5.
Oh, I love it.
Everybody and their dogs are off these guys. They're in between 6.5 and 7. I got them at 6.5 today.
Yes.
They're going to win by 3 touchdowns. It's been disgusting. Norvell is a good enough coach. They're winning by 3 touchdowns this week. It's a hammer for me.
Couldn't agree more. One of my favorite plays, and that's fine. I mean, we don't even talk about our stuff beforehand. Believe it or not,
we don't. This is a therapy session. For
I mean, literally. So, I mean, this was like my second choice. So my first one, I'm taking Nevada plus 17.5 at Minnesota. Look
against you. So are you officially off the row the boat train? Because you were rowing that boat so damn hard. The stream was almost going the other way from fucking Iowa. It was getting so bad from Minnesota. Your shoulders were getting so big about 5 years ago. You were rowing that boat so hard. I think you're finally off the train. I told you that guy was a clown.
I know. I still like Fleck. I actually think Fleck's a good. I feel like he's actually a good human being.
Oh, put him at Drake. He might be a good human being, but go coach Drake or high school football.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to be out. This could be his final year up there, actually.
Should be.
But they, for me here, it's all about just the spot. Minnesota has Iowa on deck, and we know how big a game that is for them. I feel like it's a classic look ahead. This just has all the feels of.
I'm going to put some money on Nevada money line. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
I really am.
Minnesota's been known to lay a few eggs, so. I just think this is the game, like, it's keep that clock moving. Let's just fast forward and get this over as quick as possible and win. And
Minnesota 23-10 final. And
win ugly and move on. Because I don't think this game matters to them. And, so I don't know. I saw that. I was like, wait, what? And plus, it's not like Minnesota has a high-powered offense. Let's be honest, right?
No, dude. It's watching a worse version of Iowa, I think.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah, two peas in a pod. So I'm going to take the Wolfpack at plus 17.5.
All right. Well, I got it wrapped up here. I got 7 NFL plays in your college play here. I got 5 for me. we'll run through those quick. It looks like we're a lock for the 49ers and the Jags in our circa plays, with question marks on Kansas City and the Bears, so they'll probably both make it as well. Stay tuned for those. We will post all our picks, especially our circa plays, before kick. And as soon as we put them into our buddy Ambrose, who is our proxy for that. But my plays, I got 5 of them. I got Tampa Bay plus 7.5. The Colts -2 in the hook. The Jags -3. The 49ers -5. Kansas City -5.5. My college play is Florida State -6.5. Small, getting back on track this week, and he will. Dallas -6.5. Vegas +8. The Jags -3. The Giants +1 in the hook. The Cardinals -1. Denver +2.5. The Bears +6.5. And Nevada Wolfpack +17 in the hook. I'm going to have to just really think on your thought process here on Denver. It's going to be hard for me to get around there. I don't know, bud.
Yeah.
But
right.
I'm sure, again, this is a
I
therapy
did.
session.
I thought for sure. I did. I thought I'm like, oh, he's going to have Arizona or Denver. We're going to agree on one. I'm like, he's going to have one. And then
I don't disagree on Arizona. Like, I can really talk about it.
Sure.
Denver is, dude, we are on North Pole South Pole. It is.
Man, I feel like I just love this spot too. I love Denver home dogs early in the season up there in that altitude too. Gosh,
we're gonna find out on that.
All right.
You got anything else to add, buddy?
No, man.
Well, as always, thanks again to Pig, producer Plus in the background. We're brought to you by Three Beards Media. Thanks again to our sponsors. I'm Ted. He's Small. As always, cash that ticket.